Blogger Dave Lees gave his assessment of the case of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva, who was disqualified for 4 years for violating anti-doping rules. This is such a complicated story, because it is obvious that it was not Kamila's decision. If we are talking about taking prohibited substances, it is not her decision. The people around her should be held responsible for this, and maybe even higher than just coaches. But this system is designed in such a way that the athlete is always punished for taking a prohibited substance, not the coach. There is no automatic mechanism for the coach to be held responsible for this. Therefore, the story is complicated. I do not think that all the blame lies with Kamila, but it did not work out any other way. I have a counter question. In Russia, there was a crazy wave about the 4 years that Kamila Valieva was suspended for. At the same time, there was recently a case with a girl who was led to the start by Yulia Lipnitskaya, and she was also given a long-term disqualification, but for some reason no one was so upset about it. It's amazing. There's another thing here, a peculiarity of American culture. If Kamila Valieva's case had happened in America, then all the media would have given a crazy obstruction to both Kamila and her coaches. Because if you're caught doping, that's it, you've crossed the line, you can't be invited anywhere, you can't be awarded, you're a criminal in the eyes of the public. It doesn't even matter how old you were, whether you were a minor or an adult. If you're caught doping, that's it, you're lost to the public. Remember the story of cyclist Lance Armstrong, who was an absolute icon both for his athletic achievements and for the fact that he worked so hard to prevent cancer. But when he was caught doping, everyone forgot about him and would spit on him when they met, because well, that's how it happened. If you're caught doping, then you're finished for the public and the media. Liz said in the podcast Clean Tale. Daniel Glakengos gave a long interview to Lessig, where he also answered questions about Kamila Valieva. How much contact do you keep with Kamila Valieva? We talked with the coaching staff and Kamila, we had a dialogue, I will not go into more detail. We are aware of her plans, her independent training process. She is in a fighting mood, she will get back in shape, we can already see this on her social networks. We all know how talented she is. I would really like her to come back and go through this difficult path, be able to compete and please the audience. I think this is very important for her. If she comes back, are your doors open for her? It is 100%. Did you participate in the hearings on her case? How was it? Did you feel any bias? It was online. I came to the law firm that handled her case. It was in Moscow City. I participated in the meeting via video link. Honestly, it was a nerve-wracking event. It was downright scary. Everything was so official. Do you swear to tell the truth, etc. Did they answer in English? There was a translator. I spoke Russian. They asked questions. I'm not a stupid person, but it seemed to me that with each question they were leading up to the answer they needed. It doesn't matter what you answer. You're asked a question, you answered. They ask you the same question, but worded differently. And so on for about 5 minutes straight. You sit there and don't understand what they want from you. I told them everything as it is, there were no worries. My questions were pretty simple. Have you seen your grandfather? Yes, I saw him, he brought us cucumbers. I talked to him in person. They didn't ask me any direct questions about doping. It felt like they didn't care that I was a figure skating coach. Was it just one time? I went once. It wasn't with me for that long, 30-40 minutes. So you had the feeling that everything was going in one direction? Yes, there is a certain version or direction. They need you to answer it. If you don't answer it the way you should, they just keep asking the same question. Did you see the awards ceremony for the Americans and the Japanese? Was it painful to watch? I only saw the photo. The most painful thing was the beginning, the shock we experienced at the Olympics. Then there were the consequences. I think for Kamila, for us, and for the entire team. So the shock in Beijing was stronger than when you found out the result. Yes. Everything was already more or less clear. I was surprised that they gave us 3rd place. I was sure that they would completely strip us of everything. You saw the Director General Travis Tigert said that doctors and coaches treated Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva like a guinea pig. He expressed his opinion in a conversation with pranksters Vovin and Lexus, who called him on behalf of an African politician. You will find this case even more terrible if you read the decision itself. It takes up more than 100 pages. They treated her like a guinea pig. This is sad. said Tigert. He expressed the opinion that they should be tried under the Rodchenkov law, which implies criminal liability for organizing the secret use of doping at the international level. At the same time, the CEO asked his interlocutor to help collect evidence, which, by his admission, is not yet available. Tigert is also outraged by the fact that in Russia, despite the scandal, Valieva continues to be respected and considered a hero. Previously, the press service of the World Anti-Doping Agency stated that the Associated Press article about the possible concealment by WADA management of the results of the examination, confirming the version of figure skater Kamila Valieva about infection through dessert with a prohibited drug, contains a number of inaccuracies. WADA emphasized that it was not the agency that should have decided the issue of using the USADA experiment. Tarasova called on the head of USADA to pay attention to the doping situation in the United States. Let the Americans take care of themselves, we don't need to be told who is who. Moreover, doping is not widespread here at all, I have worked all my life and can talk about it. We don't need to go there yet, we need them to calm down a little, we are calm because we did not use it, said honored coach of the USSR in figure skating Tatyana Tarasova. I don't believe at all that Kamila could drink doping, and I don't care what the Americans think. It's none of their business. Thank God, we don't live in the United States. Dancer Tubbards answered a question about raising the age limit. Is there a feeling that a crisis has arisen in women's figure skating due to the raising of the age limit? A complex topic. You can say both yes, of course, and no, of course. We need to think about this more deeply and look at everything individually. Roughly speaking, if Adelia had jumped 2 quads in the free program, there would have been Ultra C elements, and it would not have seemed like there was some kind of crisis. Let's take Sonia Akateva. She missed a year, so she has not shown Ultra C at the test skates at the moment. Veronika Zelina did not compete, but we all know that she jumps Ultra C. Sonia Muravyova did not jump a triple axel. Sasha Trusova tried a quadlutz. Dasha Sikova fell on a quad toe-loop. Roughly speaking, the girls who never jumped Ultra C never jumped them. Nothing has changed here. But if we compare it with the test skates in the Olympic year or even the pre-Olympic year, when Sasha, Anya, Eliona and Kamila jumped their quads and triple axels. Firstly, we can say that this is a golden generation. And secondly, there was a pre-Olympic and Olympic season, international. There are no international competitions now. It is absolutely not necessary for everyone to be super ready by September. No one is going to any beer challenger events that they usually go to, no one is forcing their form. There are a lot of factors. You can look at each athlete individually, you can look at the total. Someone got injured, Kamila Valieva was not there, Liza is not competing now. Visually, based on the results of the performances, yes, there was a feeling that the performances were generally unsuccessful. A little weaker than in other seasons. But to consider this as a trend, I don't know, we'll see next year. If in a year not a single Ultra C is performed at the performances, then we can say that something is failing. Honestly, I'm sure that a sufficient number of Ultra C will be performed at the next performances. Was this reform with the age limit necessary or not? It is absolutely clear to everyone what motivated this decision of those who made the reform. They talk about the athlete's health, about long careers. But in my personal opinion, it has nothing to do with age. People just don't understand it. A person went out and won the Olympics at 15, achieved his biggest goal, his cherished dream. After that, it was harder to find motivation. Another person won at 18 and achieved his cherished desire, and then saw no point in continuing. They are of different ages, they have different careers. But it was about achieving the goal that you set for your life. Liza Tatamasheva, unfortunately, did not make it to the Olympics and did not win it. And how many years has she been skating? Perhaps, in order to skate for a long time, you don't need to win the Olympics, smiles. Of course, this is a joke, we all know multiple Olympic champions. I mean, it's not about age, but about the motivation and goals of the athlete himself. And understanding what he wants from life. Someone will be 17 years old at the 2026 Olympics, someone will be 18, someone will be 20. A person will go out, win the Olympics at 20 and quit. So what, are we going to raise it to 21 now? It's not about age at all.